Good evening, everyone. I thought I'd join the crowd. If it had been 1,000 of these, we might have been all right tonight, but we weren't. Not going to be too long tonight. A, that was pretty frustrating. And B, I've got a pizza that I need to go and collect. Thoroughly professional, but, sod it. Norwich have lost here 3-1 tonight at Luton. It's their first defeat in 11 games. If you see down there, Daniel Farker is finishing his press duties with the Moose from TalkSport. Thoroughly frustrating evening to watch, and equally frustrating to see the sort of social media reaction to it all as well. Norwich went behind to a wonderful George Moncur goal. It did come from a terribly soft free kick that was given away, but at the same token, some of the Norwich players were arguing with that decision, and Luton took it quickly and took advantage. Wonderful finish. Don't think Michael McGovern could have done much about that. Norwich get back level very shortly afterwards. Przemysław Pacheta, who was basically playing up front, caused Luton a few problems actually at that point in the game in the first half of the first half, really. It got in, taken out by the goalkeeper. Daniel Farker said possible red card, because they'd actually been told at the start of the season that if a goalkeeper came out, made no attempt to win the ball, then that would be a red card. Now, to me, he's come out to try and win the ball, so I think that is a yellow card. It's definitely a penalty. There probably should have been one after that as well, but Darren England, the referee, I don't think he was going to give Norwich anything else after he'd given them the penalty. Tucked away really nicely, the penalty by Emi Buendia. Really important, I was thinking at the time, that Norwich got back on terms so quickly. The problem is they then went behind relatively quickly again. A terribly soft free kick over at the corner. The delivery was fantastic from that, and actually interesting that Daniel Farker said that Norwich went man-to-man on Pearson because they knew the threat he was from set pieces. Sadly, in this instance, he was just too strong, and I don't know who it was who was supposed to be man-marking him, but they did cover themselves in glory, and they certainly didn't stop him. Wonderful header, short range, went through Michael McGovern a little bit, but it was relatively close and he was exposed, so it's a tricky one there. But not great defending from the actual set piece, which was a very good delivery, all said and done. Okay, so 2-1, Norwich struggling a bit. You can already see the lethargy in some of the players for me, some of their decision making, some poor touches, and you're a bit like, Daniel Farker didn't feel that was a factor. He felt it was more the ebb of the game. He obviously wanted Norwich to get ahead so it would open things up a bit. So the fact that Norwich kept going behind made it very difficult for their game plan in Daniel Farker's mind. Also wasn't particularly happy with the pitch and felt that they didn't get the key decisions. They certainly didn't get the key decision at the start of the second half, where Grant Hanley conceded a penalty for handball, but he was basically fouled, went to the floor and the ball hit his arm. This is going by what people have told me. I didn't see it because I was stuck behind a pillar. But if that is physically what's happened, that's a disgrace of a decision, to be brutally honest. At that stage of the game as well, 2-1 at the start of the second half to 3-1. James Collins scored. He, of course, got his hat-trick against Norwich here in the League Cup at the start of the season, so that was his fourth goal against Norwich. But I said I haven't seen it back. But if what as it's been described to me happened, it's a joke decision, and did really sum up a referee who appeared to have forgotten what it was like to be to referee in front of supporters for 9 months. By the way, he was reacting to so many of the calls from 1,000 Luton fans in here, probably making an impact because they were around all four sides of the ground. When the 2,000 fans will be in at Carrow Road on Saturday, they'll only be in the Gerald stand, or South stand I should say, so quite a different environment really in that regard, and this is obviously a smaller ground, so it didn't really felt like there were fans here, and that was that really. It wasn't a question of the size, but it did, I have to say, there was one back pass in the second half. There were a couple of dubious fouls conceded by Norwich, but also other opportunities maybe for Norwich to get a decision that they didn't when they were attacking. And you're just like, wow, the way they were responding to the supporters, it just struck me as if he was a bit rusty in dealing with it, to be honest, which is a human reaction. I mean, it's coming across as a criticism, but it's a human thing, isn't it, to be in that situation and dealing with it like that? I don't know. So, obviously that has a massive impact on the game at that point. Likewise, the second of everything is always quite tough, and this was the second of this kind of restricted squad with all these injuries greatly impacting the fact that Norwich haven't got a striker. They're sending the same players out pretty much again, although Emi Buendia was back today and was probably the best player on the pitch in the first half. And goalkeeping wise, as I said, I mean, the penalty incident, or however unjust it was, it did come from Michael McGovern trying to play out from the back, and you just can't shake the feeling that Norwich feel so dramatically less secure at the back with him in goal, which is, it's a difficult thing to say, but that's my honestly held opinion. And you just want Tim Krul back fit as quickly as possible so he can go back and goal. And again, the second game for everyone felt trickier. There weren't many great performances. Norwich moved the ball pretty well. Luton were very good in terms of their shape. Nathan Jones was fantastically vocal on the side of the pitch, instructing, telling them if someone was free, especially Emi Buendia. And they did suck out basically the spaces in front of Norwich again because they had a lead to protect, and it made a really positive difference for them. Emi did go off with cramp, but I think it was just cramp, and hopefully that won't be any major issue. The hope is, of course, that Teemu Pukki will be back for the Sheffield Wednesday game. There might be one or two others back as well, which will be really, I think, a benefit for everyone. And Tyrese Omotoye came on for the final 5 minutes. I know a lot of you guys and girls watching were like, just throw the youngsters on, and I can understand that. Daniel Farker and his coaching staff had a hugely lengthy conversation about what to do when it was 3-1, and you could see, and I said it was tricky how the game was balanced, and people were arguing with me, but for me, it's 3-1. It could quite easily have been 4 or 5 as it was, but if you make the wrong substitution and you're suddenly open, it could have finished 4, 5 or 6, the way the balance of the game was. So it wasn't just straightforward, sling the kids on, you've got nothing to lose, because you can't say that. So I can understand, and you can't really accuse Daniel Farker of being a manager who won't play youngsters if they're ready. So he's making that call. I think he's earned enough credit in the bank in terms of what those changes are. But I understand the frustration. Trust me, I was proper frustrated watching that. And it was what it was. But we'll see what they get to go with, of course, come Sheffield Wednesday, Pulis Ball on Saturday. The remarkable thing is Norwich have lost their first game in 11. They've conceded 3 goals for the first time in a fair while too. They're still top of the Championship. It's incredibly tight, but they're still top of the Championship with another game gone. And the quicker they can ride through this and hopefully get back and keep fit players that are coming back, the better we'll all be. Loads of stuff over at The Athletic. I've got a good couple of features coming for you, especially the one tomorrow about the current situation. Also, if you haven't read my piece on Harry Kane's loan move to Norwich, please read it, because I love putting it together. And although you just assume what Harry Kane's loan move to Norwich was, you should still read the piece, because there's so much in there that I didn't know while I was putting it together. That's all at theathletic.co.uk. All of my Norwich content is there. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Please leave comments, like, follow, subscribe. I read them all. And I'll see you back at Carrow Road on Saturday with 2,000 fans. You will make a difference. I hope it's the equivalent difference to the 1,000 fans we had inside Kenilworth Road tonight. Norwich finished with a 3-1 defeat. Let's get out of here. See you later. Bye, guys.